Jesus came on earth, even being God, was still man, and did things and left a legacy, left a whole Bible that left a legacy of who that man was. He left a legacy. In other words, he had a reputation that followed him. Some of you have a reputation that precedes you, both good and bad. And that's what we're going to get into today. I came today to teach you on the legacy that you leave, or the legacy you will begin to leave. Because many of you have a reputation, have a legacy, but it ain't the best legacy. It's not the best reputation. Sadly, some of you have a reputation that follows you around almost as a ghost. Because you know, it's mistakes from a past that continue to follow you every day of your life. That doesn't matter what you do, it continues in the back of your mind. It continues to define who you become, who you are, who you have become. And if you allow those things to define who you become, it will define the actions you will take from here on out. Every man that is in the top 10 most wanted list, here, let's take Osama bin Laden. He just got shot. The #1 most searched after man. If he's alive or dead, doesn't matter. But he also has a legacy. And that legacy can all be pointed down to one moment in time, to an action, to a decision that he made that marked him for the rest of his life. Can we agree on that? Whether he's alive or not. We can agree on that. The reason that we know him is because he has a legacy, a reputation based on his actions. We know him as the mastermind behind 9/11, one of the worst attacks in U.S. history. His decisions resulted in his legacy, and his legacy resulted in his destiny. Your actions determine who you become, and who you become will sadly end up being your destiny, whether good or bad. The decisions you make today at your age will be the decisions that affect much more than just who you will be. It will determine the family that you will have, the kids that you will have. There are kids nowadays that have a disease, not because of their fault, but because of decisions that their fathers made, decisions that their mothers made. It's not even their fault. The decisions that you make affect a whole lot more people than just you. They affect sometimes the generation that comes after us. Some of you have the legacy that you have because of those before you. And it's funny, we have Josh here. It reminds me of when he came and spoke about generational curses that follow one to another. Since your grandfather was a womanizer, your father was a womanizer. Because your father was a womanizer, you're going to have to be one. Hey, I got to be like my daddy. Isn't that what Lil Wayne said? I'm stunting like my daddy. That's what the world tells you. Tells you just because that's how the dice rolled in your life, then that's how you got to be. If your family before you and the one before that had lived in the ghetto, guess what? You're always going to be in the ghetto. Forget about ever getting out. Nobody in your family before you went to college. Forget about you even finishing high school. But speaking about all this, it reminds me of a story. I've said it before, but I love this story because it's so, I've been using this word lately because it's an epic story. I love it. Because in just this simple story, it shows so much. There was once a tree, the famous tree. The whole town knew it. It stood in the very middle of the town. They never chopped it down because it was almost the symbol of the town. It was this humongous tree. This tree, it was in Kansas, around Tornado Alley. One day, there's a horrible storm arising. It's a thunderstorm. They tell everybody to bunker down because it's going to be a bad one. So the storm comes, it hits, the winds demolish houses, cars are turned over. It's a mess. They come outside, the people, and guess what? That old faithful tree is still standing up. A couple months later, another bad storm comes. Only this one's even worse. There's a possibility of a tornado. It's a category 1. It's a little one. It cuts down through the town, wipes out half the town. Half the town. But that old faithful tree is still standing in the middle of the town as a symbol of hope. That doesn't matter what happens, that tree is still going to be standing. A couple years later go by, another bad storm. This one, they're really nervous. It's a category 5 tornado they just saw touch down. Wipes out 3/4 of the town. But guess what? That old faithful tree still didn't fall down. The town went by. The people and the cars, they were affected. The tree looked like if nothing ever happened to it. A couple weeks later go by. It's a bright sunny day. Not a cloud in the sky. 85 degrees. Perfect beach weather. It was perfect to be outside tanning with a pina colada. People go to the middle of the town, and to their surprise, the tree's on the floor. It fell. The old faithful tree, for some reason or another, wasn't standing anymore. The tree that survived the storms, that survived both tornadoes, this time, it was on the ground. What a mystery. All of a sudden, it just fell. When the people start going in and looking at the tree, they noticed there was a bug inside of the tree. Small little bugs, termites, had gotten inside the tree and been eating the tree for many years. And slowly but surely began to eat the tree away. Until one day, they ate so much of the inside that the tree became so weak that it fell on its own weight. Sadly, that tree mirrors our life. For so many years, we act like we've gotten away with so much. You snuck out of your house, never got caught. It's been smoking for such a long time, never got caught. You've been selling it, haven't got caught. You've been doing all these things for such a long time, and you're like, I'm fine. But little do you know that those things from the past begin to build up in your life, and one day will catch up to you. And it will be those very things, those decisions from the past, that will force us to fall. In the same way that that tree did. Because I'm not even so worried at those things around us. Because it wasn't the storm or the tornado that brought down the tree. The secret to the tree coming down was what was inside the tree. The great question that we can ask, what's inside of us? What's inside of you? Let's forget about who's around us. What we surround ourselves. What do we feed inside of ourselves? Not food. Spiritually. Emotionally. What have we filled inside of us? If somebody was to do a surgery on your heart, spiritually, what would they find? Are you healthy? I'll give you a better one. You're about to finish school. If somebody was to give you a report card, a spiritual report card, what would you get on it? Would you be barely passing? Would you be passing at all? Some of you be failing. Some of you got to repeat a grade. Who we are inside is only going to show in the outside. Everything you say, you had to think about it first. You must have thought about it ever before you ever did it. Your actions are a result of your thoughts. The Bible says, how a man thinks, that's how he speaks. For the man speaks out of the abundance of his heart. That'll tell me who you are. That'll tell me your legacy and your reputation. Because the things you say and the things you do speak much louder than your words. Your actions will take you to a destiny. My question is, if you were to die today, what legacy would you live? Would you leave? What will people remember you as? Will they remember you as a good person? No, that's a screw up. The class clown? Great, you were funny. Where did that take you? It's a reality. Where do those decisions take you? Because you womanize every girl in your school, is that going to pay your bills one day? I'm just asking. It's not going to pay your bills. Actually, it's going to take away because you got to pay child support. Think before you do. The things that you do, your actions, will always give you a reputation. That's even something that even Jesus knew. The Bible says that Jesus grew in both favor with man and with God. What good does it do to you that you come to church but do the wrong things? Many of you are in the right place doing the wrong things. Let me tell you something. Just because you stand in a garage doesn't make you a car. Just because you come to church doesn't make you a saint, much less holy. Commitment and holiness takes work, takes sacrifice. It takes you making a decision that says, from here on out, what I was is not going to be who I will be. That's what needs to change. Because I first need you to change your mentality. Because when I change your mentality, then your actions will begin to reflect what you think. Because in the same way that you think bad and do bad, if you begin to think good, you'll begin to do good. I first need to change your mentality, and then I can begin to save your life. Because sadly, too many of you come here, and all you do is waste your time and waste God's time. Sadly, I've seen too many people come here, come and sit in maybe the seat that you might be in, and have gone out there and thrown their life away. I've had phone calls of people call me and say, if only I would have listened to the words you guys said one day in this altar, my life would be a whole lot different. Maybe I wouldn't be looking to 25 to life like I am today. Maybe I would have a home that was different. Maybe I wouldn't be put in this situation that I have to grow up at such a young age and be a father. Those are words that I've heard all too much and have seen all too much. Why? Because one time long ago, something small began to eat out the inside of your soul. And in the same way that it destroyed that tree, it will destroy your life. Because in the same way that a reputation can be for bad, there's still hope that you can change your reputation for good. That reminds me of another story. Alfred Nobel, the inventor of dynamite. We all know what dynamite is. Every cool movie that you see that's got explosives, yeah, thanks to him, we can do that. You know? He invented dynamite. He became very wealthy and very rich because of his creation. First, he did it, sell it to the train companies so they can open up between caves, remove things so that railroads can go for good. But that very invention ended up being used for bad. Dynamite was used in every war ever since it was made. The very invention that he did for good ended up being used for bad or for evil. And one day, his brother died. And in the obituary, they made a mistake. And instead of putting his brother, they put his name in the obituary. So the editor, thinking that Alfred Nobel died, he writes an article of him. And it said, Alfred Nobel, Merchant of Death. And it was this horrible article on how he was the creator that led to so many people dying, and credited every death that dynamite did to this man. And when he read that, it said that he broke down crying, that he couldn't believe that if he was to die at that moment, that he will forevermore be remembered as the merchant of death. Once he cleared up with the newspaper that he hadn't died, he spent every single cent that he had, everything, to give it to a fund, to start a fund, to be given to any individual that came up with a great idea for peace on earth. You know what that fund was called? Anybody heard of the Nobel Peace Prize? Never again is Alfred Nobel remembered for being at the Merchant of Death, but instead as a humanitarian that created the Nobel Peace Prize, one of the most prestigious awards that exists. That man was able to change his legacy. His reputation forevermore was changed because he made a stand and a decision to fix his name. Because if he would continue on the path that he would forevermore be remembered as a merchant of death. Somebody that made money out of death. This man was able to change his legacy. He was able to change his reputation. And in the same way, I came to tell you tonight that I don't know what your past has looked like. I don't know the decision that you have made, the decision that defined you to be what you are now. But today, God is telling you that today is the day that your legacy begins to change, that your reputation begins to be white clean. No longer will people begin to call you what you used to be called. Your past, you will never be able to change it. But just because you have a bad past, it never means that you need to have a bad future. Because it's in the present that defines what you will become. Forget about what happened in the past. And today, begin to decide what you will allow your future to be. My question is, what do you hope for? What do you hope to achieve? Do you have goals in your life? Do you have a goal that, even simple? What will you become? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to be remembered as? What do you want your kids to remember you as? Maybe your father was an alcoholic. Do you want to follow in those same footsteps? Or do you want to have a different and better future for your kids? that can only be done with decisions that you make now. You need to live a life of impact, a life that makes a difference. Let me tell you something. A life that makes no impact. For example, if when you walk into a room, you make no impact, then your exit will make no difference. Let me repeat that. When you walk into a room and it makes no impact, then your exit will make no difference.